everyone, buckle up because today we're diving headfirst into a story.
That's pretty wild.
It is wild. It's about a guy named Kevin Sharp, but his influencer name
Oh, right.
is K-Sizzle.
K-Sizzle.
Yeah,
Oh.
and his rise was fast and
his fall was even faster.
oh yeah, like a total digital train wreck.
It really
Yeah.
makes you think about, like, the whole influencer thing.
Right, like how much of it is real?
Yeah, exactly. All those perfect lives, the
Yeah.
cars,
The money,
everything. Is it all just for show?
That's what we're going to dig into today.
His deep dive.
Exactly.
Should be interesting for anyone who uses social media.
Yeah, like even if you just scroll for fun.
Or if you're, dreaming of becoming an influencer.
Because K-Sizzle's story is like a cautionary tale.
A big one.
Yeah, about what happens when online and real life collide.
And when you chase clout, no matter the cost.
Our main source for this is an article.
Oh, yeah. I read that one.
It's called The Downfall of K-Sizzle, a social media tyrant's ride to ruin.
What a title.
Right. So picture this. Las Vegas, bright lights,
Fancy cars.
and K-Sizzle living the high life,
5 million followers.
driving a neon green Lamborghini.
And preaching his clout or cloutless mantra.
Like it was the gospel.
It's the kind of persona we see all the time online.
But was it real?
That's the question, isn't it?
Were all those followers real? Was the money real?
Was any of it real?
And then things took a
dark turn.
yeah, a dark turn for sure.
It all started with a pretty typical scene.
Oh yeah, traffic on the Las Vegas Strip.
Everyone's just trying to get where they're going.
And K-Sizzle's in his Lambo, of course.
Live streaming the whole thing. Showing off his baller life, as he called it.
But then a Jeep Wrangler, like a regular car.
Yeah, nothing fancy.
It merged a little too close to his precious Lambo.
And K-Sizzle just loses it.
He did not handle it well.
Not at all.
The article said he threw a nitro cold brew can at the Jeep. Seriously.
Yeah, and then...
Gets worse, doesn't it?
Oh, it gets so much worse.
I can't believe he...
He pulled out a gun.
A gun?
A chrome-plated, bedazzled Taurus G3.
You can't make this stuff up.
And he aimed it right at the people in the Jeep.
Who were just regular...
It was a landscaper, Joe Ramirez.
And his brother, just trying to get to work.
Imagine their shock, right?
Let's talk about road rage taken to a whole new level.
And it was all caught on camera.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, there was Ring doorbell footage showing K-Sizzle's Lambo.
Tailing the Jeep.
Yeah, like swerving all over the place.
And then the police body cam footage.
When they caught up with him at his mansion...
What was his reaction?
Oh, he was completely delusional.
Like, out of touch with reality?
Totally. He asked the officers if they didn't recognize him.
No way.
Yeah, and he flashed his verified status on his phone.
As if that meant something to the police.
Right, like it was some kind of get-out-of-jail-free card.
Unbelievable.
I know. And guess what he was charged with?
Let me guess.
Aggravated battery, carrying a concealed weapon,
Of course.
and reckless driving.
So he's in big trouble now.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
But at the police station, it was like a whole other show.
Like a reality TV show.
Exactly. He demanded a cinematic mugshot.
Oh, what?
A cinematic mugshot. He was fussing about the lighting.
He's worried about his good side.
Totally. And then he refused to hand over his cufflinks.
What was so special about his cufflinks?
They were Versace.
Versace cufflinks.
And then, get this, he calls his girlfriend on Zoom.
On Zoom.
Yeah, and he's complaining about his brand being sabotaged.
His brand.
I know, right? Like being arrested was bad for his image.
The level of delusion is just...
Mind-boggling.
It really is.
So even after all that, he's still worried about his online persona.
It's like he can't separate online from real life.
Exactly. The lines are totally blurred.
And this is just the beginning.
Oh, there's so much more to this story.
I can't wait to hear what happens next.
You'd think getting out on bail would make him, take a step back.
You'd think, right. Like reassess his priorities.
Exactly, but nope.
Not K-Sizzle.
Not at all. It was like someone poured gasoline on the fire.
And handed him a match.
Seriously. He rented a Ferrari.
A Ferrari.
Yeah, and started bragging about flexing on credit.
Like being in debt was something to be proud of.
It's mind-blowing,
The
right?
guy's facing serious charges, and he's worried about appearances.
And then it gets even crazier.
Oh, there's more.
So much more. He started flaunting fake Gucci money.
Fake money.
Yeah, like stacks of it all over social media.
What was he thinking?
Who knows? And then there was a nightclub brawl over a spilled drink, apparently.
And K-Sizzle was involved.
Of course, and he even scratched a bouncer's Audi with his keys.
This guy's a walking disaster.
It's like he was trying to get arrested again.
You have to wonder how much of this behavior was fueled by the algorithms.
The algorithms?
Yeah, the ones that control what we see on social media.
What do you mean?
They're designed to keep us engaged.
So they show us things that will get a reaction.
Exactly. And the more outrageous the content, the more engagement it gets.
So by clicking and sharing, we're actually feeding this cycle.
It's a dangerous loop, and it can really distort people's behavior.
Like in K. Sizzle's case.
Exactly. He was so used to getting likes and views for being outrageous.
That he couldn't stop even when it was self-destructive.
It's like he was addicted to the attention.
And the algorithms were feeding that addiction.
It's a complex issue. It's something we all need to be aware of.
So what finally happened? Did anything bring him down to earth?
Well, his final live stream before his next arrest was something else.
Can you tell us about it?
It was bizarre to say the least.
I bet.
As deputies were dragging him out of his house.
Oh.
Yeah, he's inhaling helium from a balloon.
Helium? What for?
He wanted to sound like, and I quote, the voice of an angel, the mind of a king.
You can't make this up.
I know, right? And of course it went viral. Millions of views. People couldn't get enough of it.
It was like the perfect encapsulation of his whole saga.
The absurdity of it all.
So the trial finally arrives. What happened then?
Well, the prosecution did a really good job of dismantling his online persona.
How so?
They showed that half his followers were bots.
Bots!
Yeah, fake accounts designed to inflate his numbers.
Wow, so his clout wasn't as real as he made it seem.
Not even close. And then remember that bedazzled gun?
The one he waved around?
It was linked to a robbery.
Seriously?
And to top it all off, his own mother testified against him.
His own mother.
She said she'd raised a menace on social media.
That's gotta hurt.
It's a powerful reminder that actions have consequences, even online.
So what was the verdict?
Guilty on all counts.
He couldn't charm his way out of this one?
Nope, the jury saw right through his act.
And the sentence?
6 years in prison.
6 years, that's a long time.
Plenty of time to think about his choices.
You'd think he'd learn his lesson, right?
You hope so.
But guess what? He's still trying to maintain his online presence from prison?
From prison.
The article said he's posting videos of himself lip-syncing to Drake.
In his jail uniform.
It's unbelievable, right?
It really shows how deeply ingrained this need for validation can be.
Like he can't function without it.
And it speaks to the enduring power of the internet.
Once it's out there, it's out there.
Exactly. Your digital footprint is hard to erase.
What about his girlfriend, Bianca?
Oh, she's still around?
Is she still supporting him?
Well, she rebranded herself as Mrs. Sizzle.
Mrs. Sizzle.
And she started using his account to promote crypto scams.
Of course.
It's like a whole cycle starts all over again.
Exploiting people's vulnerabilities for profit.
It's a reminder that we need to be careful who we trust online.
And to be critical of what we see.
Exactly. Not everything is as it seems.
But before we go too far down that rabbit hole,
Right.
there's one more thing I wanted to touch on.
What's that?
What happened to Joe Ramirez?
The landscaper?
Yeah, the one who K. Sizzle threatened.
Oh, his story is actually quite inspiring.
Tell me more.
He used the money from his lawsuit settlement
To do what?
to start a youth outreach program.
Seriously?
It focuses on media literacy and responsible online behavior.
That's amazing. He turned a negative experience into something positive.
It's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference.
Even in the face of online chaos.
Exactly. We can choose to be part of the solution, not the problem.
Well said. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We had.
The rise and fall of K. Sizzle.
And the bigger picture of influencer culture.
But there's one more piece to this puzzle.
Oh.
In part 3, we're going to delve into the psychology.
The psychology.
Yeah, the psychology of influencer culture.
That should be interesting.
It is. We'll explore why we're so drawn to these larger-than-life personalities.
And why we let them influence our lives.
It's going to be a fascinating discussion, so stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive on K. Sizzle. So we've talked about his rise, his fall, and all the crazy stuff in between.
That's been a wild ride.
But now I want to kind of shift gears a bit.
Shift gears.
Yeah, like turn the focus inward.
Inward.
Yeah, like on us.
Oh, okay.
Why are we so obsessed with these influencer stories?
Good question.
Like, what is it about influencer culture that just sucks us in?
Well, I think it taps into our need to connect with others.
Connection. Okay.
We're social creatures, you know?
Right.
We crave belonging.
So social media kind of fills that void,
In a way, yeah, it creates this sense of community.
even if it's all online.
Even if it's virtual, it still feels real to us.
And influencers, they're like the masters of that.
They know how to build a following.
Make people feel like they're part of something.
Exactly. They share their life, their thoughts, their experiences.
And we get to peek behind the curtain.
It's like we have a backstage pass to their world.
A world that often seems pretty amazing.
Full of glamour and excitement.
Exotic vacations, designer clothes, the whole 9 yards.
It's aspirational. We see it and we want it.
It's like the ultimate keeping up with the Joneses.
But amplified by social media.
And that can be a dangerous thing.
It can, because it often leads to comparison.
Like, we start comparing our lives to these curated images.
And feeling inadequate as a result.
It's like we're holding ourselves up to this impossible standard.
And it's not just about material things. It's about lifestyles, relationships, everything.
So how do we avoid getting caught up in that?
I think awareness is key.
Awareness.
Yeah, understanding that what we see online is often just a facade.
A highlight reel, not the whole picture.
Exactly. And remembering that everyone have their struggles.
Even the influencers who seem to have it all.
Especially them. They're just really good at hiding it.
So it's all about being mindful, right?
Being mindful of what we consume, who we follow, and how it makes us feel.
If an influencer is making you feel bad about yourself, unfollow them.
It's that simple. You have the power to curate your own online experience.
That's a good reminder.
And remember, true happiness comes from within.
Not from likes or followers.
Exactly. It's about finding fulfillment in your own life.
On your own terms.
Without comparing yourself to others.
Well said. I think that's a great note to end on.
I agree.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the downfall of K-Sizzle.
What a story.
It really is. Let's use it as a reminder to be more mindful online.
To think critically about what we see.
And to focus on what truly matters.
Connection, authenticity, and making a positive impact.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay true to yourselves.